Oh, and it's going to be a good week this week. It's Good Friday this week. It's Easter. It's all sorts of loving this week. And the reason I say it is because I love chocolate. So
There
it's a
you go.
loving
There it
week for
is.
me.
So
And today we're going to pick.
I'm more of the sweet chewy stuff. My
Oh
parents
yeah,
figured me and my brothers we're the same. We're the sweet chewy stuff, not
yeah.
chocolate. So,
I'm all over that too. I'm the
but I
worst.
appreciate the chocolate lovers. I could
My
give a
wife
fuck
calls
what
me
you think.
bad diabetic Dan. I'm horrible at it. But today we're going to pick the topic on air for y'all. Stay tuned. To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly. All right, so here we go. Jeff's the champion today because he came in at 9:12, 9:01:12. But you know what? Here's the thing. We got to give Daman and we got to give Lisa some serious props because they're on the West Coast. So it is early for them right now, and they're joining us. Welcome, everybody.
But Jeff, props to you. You got it today.
Hello, my friend. In there real quick. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna get my title back.
Right? Yes, you got it. You got it.
I watched a lot of Young Rock and the old championship
title. Belt over the shoulder.
We used to do that as kids. We used to put mattresses down on the ground, and my dad was a musician, so he'd take his mic stands and put them in four corners, and we'd run rope around it, and we'd have like the whole ring. And I used to think it was really cool. And then my brother and his buddies would like pile drive me because I'm like 3 years younger than them. And and when you think about it today, it's like my neck's going, and people wonder why I'm a little loopy sometimes, well, it's my brother, man. He like him and his buddy Luke would always like body slam me. And, I actually got, I don't know if I shared this with you. So, my brother had some really, really good friends, right? And unfortunately, my brother died when he was 30 from cancer, but he had some really good friends. And one of his good friends, Luke, recently connected with my dad. And Luke has a Ukrainian wife, and they have a child together. And he was in the Canadian military, pretty high up in the Canadian military. So him and his buddy actually flew to Ukraine to help with the war efforts and train some of the soldiers.
Oh, wow.
So you see a lot of, a lot of Americans are doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, there's a lot doing that.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I just thought that was a nice, thing to share. You talk about giving back, right? Yeah. David says, the 6 a.m. club out west.
Yes, sir.
Lisa says, yes, right back at you. It's for sure.
I love it.
Antoine, how are you this morning,
Antoine,
brother?
good morning, y'all. Thank you for joining us.
DJ, we got like, it's Monday, brother. It is a brand new week. It's this open canvas for us to paint anything we want on.
That's right.
I don't know. I just love it that the weather's changing. There's so much awesomeness in the air, if that even makes sense.
I love that you said that too. And I think they're everybody who's watching us right now, the first paradigm shift right there. What Dan just said, Mondays, think of it as a new week. So if you screwed up last week, if you jacked up last week, think of it as this is your week to make it new. So it's not a bad Mondays. If you could just change that, Mondays are great. Like, hell yeah, I fucked up last week. Let me get going this week.
Well, let me come out of the gates. But this is funny because we've had this conversation before. And before we pick the topic, let's just play in this sandbox for a minute. How many times have we, and here's something for every one of you to just stop and go, okay, I will never do this again. Let's be consciously aware of it. How many Fridays, I can't even count. How many Fridays I left work going, damn, I screwed the pooch this week. Damn, I kind of didn't give it my, you know what? Monday, that's it. Monday, I'm going to own you. Monday's going to be my bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you come out Monday.
Comes.
No. But you come out Monday and you're rocking. You're on your way to work Monday morning and somebody cuts you off. And then for like 30 minutes, it just totally destroys your mindset and then it never gets back. Or you get into work and you're like, okay, man, and you organize your desk because the desk got to be organized in order to be productive, right? Okay. Right? You know what I'm saying? Sure. Whatever. Just keep procrastinating. So you get all your stuff ready and you're ready to go and a customer calls and there was a huge issue. And then Monday night comes, you leave the office and you're like, damn, I didn't quite get to what I wanted to get to, did I? What do you do in that situation, brother?
Again, it's neutral thinking, guys. Forget it. It's screwed up. It happened. The next moment's new. Another choice, like our good friend Rico says, make the right choice the next moment, and you're back on the right track.
So now, do you
That's the way I
put
think of it.
specific things in place? Like, do you say to yourself, okay, let's reschedule, let's restructure, like, or do you just, okay, no, you know what?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did it again. Let's
Again,
not do it again.
we're overthinkers. I think we like to. I think we break down ourselves more than we even break down other people. So I know what you're saying, and I do that. So yes, I will sit there and be like, okay, why did I do this? What happened during this day that made me do this? And I need to not have that happen again. So yeah, I will do that as well.
Mhm.
But yeah,
See, I think that is from like the human mind perspective. Um, it's almost like identifying triggers. And then
yes,
the
yes,
second part for me, and this is something one of my mentors taught me, and
yes,
it has saved me. Like, I can't count how many times, is creating habits from triggers. Right.
yes.
So what I used to do is I used to create a habit and a trigger. When I would close my door, that would trigger me into sales mindset in my office. Right. And every time I would walk through the front doors, it would trigger me to say, okay, we are going to make the best of every single moment, and we are going to take every single moment and we're going to scale it to the next level, and we're going to
Yep.
continuously ask ourselves, when I wake up in the morning, when I used to get in my car, it used to be, how can I give myself a raise today? And for an hour and 20 minutes on the way to the office, I would think about, how am I going to give myself a
How are
raise
you
today? I
gonna
mean,
do
even
it?
to the point where I do my Zig Ziglar Automobile University, but
Yes,
I
sir.
would I would barely be listening to it because I'd be, okay, how am I
Because
going
you're
to do that?
thinking. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
yeah.
do that same. Something will get me in a thought, and then all of a sudden, the recording's going, and I know it's going, but man, I'm somewhere else, and I'm playing
Hmm.
through. Okay, if I do this, what about that?
Hmm.
And then,
And
oh
did
my
you ever notice in that recording, as soon as something comes on the wavelength you're thinking, it's like it goes from
yeah.
to, hey, you know what? You got to really wake your ass up right now. It's like, oh my God,
Oh
that's a great idea. I'm glad I thought
yeah.
of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Perfect comments.
David,
Good
good
morning,
morning, brother.
everybody.
Yeah,
Morning,
good
David.
morning, brother Greg. And it's a new week. Now utilize a new approach to the same game. Own the day, own the week. Love it.
Oh
Prime
man, I love that,
yourself
Greg.
every morning.
Prime
Damon,
yourself.
I am
Correct.
huge on that. Lisa says, OMG, I just organized my desk. You see? Now, Lisa, I mean, I don't know how many
It's
people
okay.
you're going to
It's still
call at
6
6
o'clock
a.m.
over
and
there. You're off
expecting.
the hook.
Yeah, exactly. So you're good. Mindset, body, put yourself in an optimal position to perform, prime all sides of you, including your spiritual side. Yes, sir. Amen to that. Every morning when I wake up, first thing I
That's the
do for a
man.
good 4 minutes is I just sit there and I'd be one with myself and the universe. And I set all my intentions for the day. I thank the Lord above for everything he's given me, everything he's about to give me, and all the good stuff that's about to hit my plate. And I know some people might call this crazy. I also thank him for all the challenges I'm going to have today, because I say with
Oh,
every
I'm so
challenge,
yes.
I encourage you, or I challenge you to challenge me to look at it from a different way. So definitely. Good morning on the East
Love it.
Coast. Yeah, we got some East Coast here. Yes, sir. All
No
right.
doubt.
DJ,
All
are
right, let's
you
pick the
ready,
topic.
brother?
Oh,
All
all
right.
right.
Well,
Let's
all
do it.
right, all right,
All
all
right, there
right.
it is. Stop. Stop. Yeah. I think that's a good one.
I think this is a really good one. And it'll be interesting to see if your Damon says, amen, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This
There.
this will be actually this is kind of right up line with what we've already talked about, which is crazy. So the 20% education rule. And
Ah.
I call this the 20% education rule because everybody else calls it, the 80%, 80/20 rule. However, if you think about this, operating systems, as soon as they hit 80%, they release them to the market. The other 20%, they do updates on air. I think if we are using any more than 20% of our day for education, we're procrastinating. That's my big kind of aha. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, if you take a 10-hour day, which most of us work, if you do more than 2 hours of education prior to working, okay, prior to getting things done, I think you're procrastinating. And the reason I say that, and
Mm.
um,
Now,
is
what if it's before that shift starts?
so, but here's the thing. So yes, I agree wholeheartedly with the getting up early.
Okay.
Like Daman was saying, like
Yeah,
Lisa was
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
prime
yeah.
your day, prime your body, prime your mind. Part of priming your mind is education for our careers, because here's the thing: when it comes to education, when it comes to scaling our careers, nobody walks in with that $1 million skill. Nobody. Nobody. Like, you
Nope.
start in our industry, you do not have all the skills, talents, drive, everything, the strategy that you need to do a
It's
$1 million
impossible.
GP.
There's so
It's
much that you need
impossible.
to know.
Exactly. Elon Musk didn't just get, wake up one morning and go, yeah, okay, Tesla. And he was there. He had to learn into that person he wanted to become.
Yep.
Everybody, Tony Robbins learned into the guru he is today. Everybody learns into what they become. However, there is a huge issue with education, because a lot of people, like, think about it, DJ, you go online and you go to YouTube, or you go to your favorite coach, and you watch programs or videos.
Yep.
The dopamine and serotonin drip that you get from watching these
It's
elevated, these
unbelievable.
unreal.
It's unreal.
But
It
what
really
does
is.
it do? And that's the thing, right? We talk about it a lot, the application of
What's
the
it?
information.
Yes, yeah, and I'm glad you said that. Yes, it will get you the motivation. It will get you and it will get you that excitement. But if you don't follow through with, or if you didn't actually learn something, it's funny
Mhm.
we're even talking about this. I was just watching a different keynote I've seen from Tom Bilyeu, and he talked about passion. He talked a lot about passion and how do you find passion. And he said a lot of people say, I don't even know my passion. How do I find it? He said I love Tom because he just thinks of everything in the basics. Like, he tries to break it down to just the most simple way. And he said it's a math equation. It's interest. What is your area of interest? So find what your area of interest is. So plus mastery over time, like you're saying. So now you're in love with it. You really start to master it. You want to be the best that you could possibly be. There's your passion. It's right
Mhm.
there.
Mhm. Mhm. It is. And so here's a couple of things that, um, it's funny you said that. 20% of your time is learning into who you want to be. Clarity, identify what you want to learn. Win, even if you lose. Be flexible and committed. Look for ways to make it fun. Think in decades. Those are my kind of 6 points to the 20% education rule.
I love it.
Think in decades. And this is something that I always sharing with students and with friends and family. It's think in decades, right? And as much as people are like, oh no, you got to be in the here now. I understand that, but think in decades. So as a sales rep, bring clients in that are going to help you create that life you want 2, 3,
Yes.
4, 5, 10 years down the road. I share it with my children all the time. They're like, oh, da da da. I'm like, okay, think in decades. What is this going to be? Is this going to drive you to where you want to go in 5 years? Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Then you put all of your effort into it,
Yeah.
right? If it's
Yeah.
not, when my son's looking to be a fireman, so we set out on this kind of plan, this strategy for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
This is what he wants to do to learn into that position he wants to go for, and that includes, meeting training, physical workouts, educational, different certificates, and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, but other people aren't doing it. I said, exactly. If
Exactly.
other people aren't doing it, you are separating yourself from the crowd. And if we
Yep.
look at, unfortunately, very unfortunately, if we look at the caliber of salespeople in today's market, you don't have to look very far to see people that are transactional and rates and rates and rates and rates. I just did a what the truck on Friday, and we talked about this, and it is like blowing up with people with, it's, people are pushing cheap rates, but there's so much more to it. You just have to learn into it.
I'm so glad you said that. Think, I think what that is. I think we're having a little bit of shift. Do you agree? Would you agree with this? I think sales is becoming more of a. It's not the, oh, you don't want to do sales, you get a real job. It's sales is the way that you can make a lot of money, and that's all people think now of sales. This is the only way you can make a lot of money, and I think it's so people are buying into the hype of that, but they don't actually like what they're doing. They don't, you know,
Yes, I
when
don't think it's recent though. So
no,
I got into sales. I'm a grade 9 dropout. And the owner of the logistics company that I first started at sat me down. He says, you can make more money than a lawyer. And I went, get the fuck out of here. And he goes, I'm telling you, like with your talent, and I didn't even see this in me, DJ. And again, I don't think I had talent. I just think I love to
Well,
talk.
but they can see you. Yeah,
Yeah.
but this guy seen it, and you could see it. Like you can see it. I agree with whoever was this person who told you that. They're 100% right. I think you can see who was meant to just be like who's a people
Be a
person and
people
not.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
and in sales you have to like people. You have
yes.
to actually like
Yeah.
people.
That's true.
Like
That's true.
you
But that was the only reason I got into transportation. Like it was, and so, and I guess, to understand that, you got to understand a bit of the backstory. Like my whole family preached education, education, education. My dad was a locksmith. He was a magician. I struggled growing up. My family struggled growing up. Like I didn't have anything. I lived in community housing in like a really bad neighborhood, and we didn't have anything. And my dad was like, education, education. He goes, if you need to, you get a trade. You will never be rich, but you'll put food on the table for the family. That was his motto, right? And I was like, there's got to be more, Dad. There's got to be more to life than just putting food on the table.
yeah.
And I just happened to come across this. But what sold me on logistics, because I was like, what do you mean? Like, what's an 18 wheeler? Like, I didn't even like, I mean, I drove by them every day, but I had like just consciously aware
Yeah.
of none.
Yeah.
And he says, you can make more money than a lawyer. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I'm going to prove all of you wrong that said I need education. And that was my motivation. That was how this motivated. However, here's the
You're a chip
difference.
on the shoulder guy like I am. I was the same thing.
Yeah,
Everybody
but
told me
DJ,
forever
here's
get
the
a real job.
difference. I know people in the industry, 25 years,
Yeah.
still doing 20 grand a month, still doing 30 grand a month, still the same people they were 25 years ago. I don't agree with it, but that's my personal philosophy, is that we should be growing into somebody better and better and try and make today better than tomorrow. Some people are just satisfied. Some people are cool. I speak to people all the time. I speak to people that are 30 years in the industry. They haven't made a sales call in 12 years, 15
Yeah.
years, because they're kosher. They're cool. They're like, yeah, man.
That's so crazy you say that. So my first intro into this, in a smaller satellite office for one of the big guys, and I'm sitting with a guy and they're watching me and I'm just calling and calling and calling and calling and they're looking at me like I'm crazy. And the guy who's the manager of the office, he's like, I haven't called. If I lost my customers, I would just have to find a new job. And I'm like, what?
Mhm.
I mean, it's crazy. It's insane.
But
Yeah.
you
Some
see how
people,
that is not thinking in decades?
no,
That's
exactly.
like just
That,
waking up today, doing everything the same way you did
hoping to
yesterday, and
maintain.
expecting, yeah, yeah.
Hoping to
Maggie
maintain.
says, "I love that." I love that you guys started the same way. See,
We
that's
did.
why we get along so well.
We did.
Scott says, "Love that, so true." Damon says, "This is the exact reason I send a reps over to Dan's train." Oh, thanks, brother. To teach sales
Yes,
how to
sir.
do it the right way. Make it a relationship base where you can face yourself in the mirror. The money should be a byproduct of delivering a great service. Damon, amen.
You
Money
are the
will
man, Damon.
only
And
be a
yes,
direct result of the service you give to the market. If you're not making money as a salesperson, don't look at that. Look at what the service you're providing, and that will be a direct
yes,
result. Bob Proctor, the late and great Bob Proctor, taught me that so long ago. Damon, thank you so much.
you're the man, Damon.
Uh, Scott says, yes, this goes, it goes to 10% stat where only 10% are going to be consistent through build relationships. Yes, 100%. And Lisa says, love that, Damon.
Yes, sir.
Like, and this goes back to a conversation we had with Steve on Thursday
Yeah.
about Clydesdales and donkeys. And I hate to put it like that, but David Long in his book, Built to Lead, amazing book for all of you that are in leadership that truly want a really good book on like solid leadership. David Long's book, Built to Lead, amazing man. Actually, I'm going to reach out to him today because we got to have him on the show. And in it, he says, there's the Clydesdales and donkeys. And he says, and unfortunately, in a lot of companies, you have 10 to 20% Clydesdales pulling, 90 to 80% of the donkeys in the business. But getting back to this,
Yep.
because here's something that I noticed I was doing, and I'm a very driven individual, and I still have to catch myself,
Agree.
is educating ourselves, watching a video or doing training on how to sell differently can be very satisfying, right? Like we watch it, we're like, oh man, that is some
Yes.
great info. That is so sad. I'm going to watch another one. But really the time is to sell. The time is to get on the phone. Time is to connect with people. Time is to do that. And that dopamine drip will be so much more in the end, but we just, for some reason, stay into the video, right? I remember the day, and I remember this clearly because I remember the day where I had sent a message to you guys in our inner circle Slack group. And I said, guys, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm disconnected. I'm not feeling it. And I remember you said, Dan, watch this YouTube video. And then Ryan came back and he's like, dude, your family, your wife, your kids, they need you to be on your game today and they need you to go. And I'm like, yeah, you guys are right. You guys are right. I remember watching 4.5 or 5 minutes. I think it was like an hour YouTube video you sent. Yeah. And it was awesome. And after about 5 minutes, I'm like, that's it. Bang. And I shut it off because I said, okay, I got that that I needed to kind of break me through that wall. Now I'm the freight train. I'm not going to let the video be the freight train. Now I'm the freight train. That video might get you going. You know what they say? A train at station, if you put a quarter underneath the front wheel, it will never go anywhere. But that train 5 minutes down the track will run through brick walls and not lose a single mile per hour. Right?
Yes, sir.
So that's what I challenge. Well, and that's what I challenge everybody today to do this week. Make this week so good last week gets jealous. And I love that saying, whether it comes from the day or the week. I freaking love it. I think it's awesome, right? Because that canvas that we said that you paint this week, what is the goal? Like, what's the big mission at the end of the week? Right? And then work backwards, just like you do at the end of the day. What's the big mission at the end of the day? And work backwards. Start with the end in mind. Stephen Covey, God bless his soul. Yes. Because that is one of the best pieces of information anybody can work. If you start with the end in mind, where do you want to be at the end of the week? Let's stretch it back.
You got it. If you're shooting something, you got to see the target before you're going to shoot the gun because you don't know where you're aiming for.
Yeah. Scope it, baby. Scope it. Zero in. Do it. Greg says, if you put sales results first, you will lose long-term. If you put sales results first, you will lose long-term every time. If you put providing value to others first and foremost, you will win every time, all the time. Be willing to wait full circle as it is a process. It is a marathon. You know what? You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Lisa says momentum, 100%. So here's Jeff, new to the industry, coming from sports industry for 15 plus years. The logistics transportation has been eye-opening and so interesting. Great podcast. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Jeff.
Coming from sports, my man. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing,
you're
brother.
In the right field. You are nature
totally.
Already. So
yeah. And you know, here's the thing. From sports, first and foremost, Jeff, welcome, brother. We need really good people in this industry, and we need really good talent in this industry to change the face of the industry. And I think this is the next evolution of logistics, is to truly become that core function, because companies now more than ever realize when supply chains are fractured, how much it really costs. And in the end, all of you and us now know how much it costs. Because I don't know about you guys, but my grocery bill's skyrocketed.
Woo,
I haven't had a good tasting tomato in months. I can't wait for Ontario Produce to start producing some real tasty food, because everything's coming in so raw. So, you know, it's like ripening in containers as opposed to on the vines and in nature. So, Jeff, you know, welcome to the industry, brother. And my suggestion is you find that connection between sports and logistics as soon as possible, because when you do, I have a buddy of mine, loved baseball. I know I've shared this story before. This guy makes millions of dollars a year talking about baseball all day.
Yeah, so whatever industry or sport you are in, just lead with that and lead with service. Lead with making sure everybody wins on every deal and you can't lose.
Yeah. Great. Welcome, brother. Welcome. That's awesome. All right. So DJ, what do you think? What your brain revolving around this 20% rule? Be flexible and committed. One big thing, look for ways to make it fun. I think this is a critical part of 80% of our day, or 100% of our day, 100% of our life. I don't know about you. Have you ever woke up one morning and just wish you'd be fired?
Yes, a lot. Unfortunately, yes, a lot.
What was the reasoning why? Did you ever dig down deep into the reasoning why?
I mean, so mine is different, so I'm not gonna say. I mean, I have this crazy. I'm just crazy. I'll just say
Well,
that.
we know that, brother. Like, hey, come on.
I'm
It took
I'm
about
just
2 shows
crazy.
for us to realize that. It's
I'm
all
crazy.
good,
I have
right?
crazy dreams, and nobody could keep me wrangled in enough. I guess I don't know. But
Maggie, are you keeping them wrangled in enough here? Is this what's
she
going on?
does a good job.
Yeah,
But
good.
yeah, no, it's passion. I think, and I'm glad you brought up fun because I was going to go back to that when you mentioned it on your list. Uh, That's, I guess, to your point, Dan. That was what really changed. I went from, for the longest time, anybody who knows me knows I've sold everything. They're usually asking, "What am I doing now?" Because I've pretty much sold everything. And it was once I realized to just focus on what I wanted to do and that feeling, like you said, once it was, oh, I hate doing this. Oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, this sucks. And you're just constantly thinking that. It was like, okay, why am I doing this then? And then it
Mhm,
was just, no, no more. And then once it was,
mhm,
I just want to have fun. I want to love what I'm doing. Once I focused on that, and then it was next was like, thankful to you, but and everything else in this whole new B2B world. But in ICP, ideal customer profile. Okay, I want to be around people that make me happy now. Make me just, I'm happy. I love. We're all thinking the same thing. They don't think I'm crazy. They think I'm like them. You can find it, and once you do, it changes
mhm,
everything. Like it
mhm,
literally changed everything for me. Everything.
mhm.
Just
I
just awakening
lost
to that.
I lost all passion in this industry in 2008, 2009
Yeah.
when the economy crashed and every customer. Sorry, let me rephrase that. My perspective was every single business partner, every single customer was cutting each other's throat. Like they'd cut off their foot to save their arm.
Yes.
And I was like, you guys don't understand. By doing this, you are rocking the friggin' market. Like, don't
Yes.
do it. Like, and again, I'm one person. How am I going to change a market? Right. That was the
Exactly.
whole perspective. But it was like, don't drop your rates. Don't I understand it. It's just like we're facing today, a little bit
Yeah.
different, but it's some of the
But it's
challenges we're facing
but it's the
today.
same pattern. It seems
Yeah.
like.
And I lost and again, perspective drives everything, right? So I had a $37 million company and within 9 months we were about $300,000. So when you talk about falling off a cliff, and it's like and I don't know if you've ever taken a tumble off a cliff. I have. When
Hmm.
you're grabbing at things and
It's
all I can put it to is if you ever saw
it is
um
scary. It is
yeah,
scary.
Lone Survivor. If you ever saw Lone Survivor,
Yes,
when they
yes,
jump off the cliff and they're like
yeah,
hitting rocks and trees and they're trying to grab for things and it's like when you're falling, you ever had those dreams where you fall off a cliff and you wake
yep,
up and you're just like,
yep.
holy
That's this
shit.
one.
But when
Yeah.
you're falling in business and everything you do actually contributes to the fall as opposed to, sorry, prospectively contributes to the fall as opposed to stops you. It was to a point where I owned a company and I didn't go to work. Like I was wishing somebody would fire me. And my business partner finally
Mhm.
got up and said, "Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I've
What's
I
going
got
on?
millions on the line here. I've done my like he was a multimillionaire. He goes, I've done my thing, Dan. Like, what's going on with you?" And I'm like, this is bullshit. Like everybody's an asshole. And it was everybody but me. And that was the biggest kind of, oh my God, where it was like, oh my Lord, okay. My perspective is totally friggin' shot
Mm.
because everybody's the problem but me. And it's like, whoa, hold on. What's the common denominator?
Usually, when everybody you're meeting, you say is the problem. Usually,
And it's crazy
yeah,
how that changes your perspective.
totally
And
changes.
it's even to this day,
Oh,
um,
sure.
like I'm consistently saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's
I will vouch for that. You do that, and I appreciate that. So thank you. But yeah,
well,
you do that quite a bit.
thank you, brother. I do, and it's one of these things where and now I think we're entering that period. And
Mm,
here's my prediction. Now, as things start transitioning, as customers get a little harder to acquire, right?
yep.
Because think about it. Like we've had how many customers on this show that said, I can't be wrong. Like
Yeah.
now when I make a decision to use a new supplier, I cannot be wrong. And that's coming from shippers where it's like, it's not even, I need $5 off or $50 off or 100. It's, I can't be wrong. If I'm wrong, I am up shit's creek without a paddle.
When brokers, and especially Jeff, new to this, you got to understand this. To them, they have to feel that way because it's their job. It is their life. It is their livelihood. It is their families. It is their everything on the line too. If they make the wrong decision and choose you to handle their freight, and you screwed up.
Yeah, and that's a very good point that DJ said, Jeff. Very, very, very good. Maggie says the smile scares me sometimes. It's like one of those things where you're smiling, you're like, is he really smiling or is he angry inside? Yeah. Damon says, Jeff, logistics is a team sport. You're only as strong as your weakest link, so it becomes about elevating your entire team plus the partners you work with. Very well put, Damon. Yep. Very well put. Jeff, you're getting a lot of gold today, brother. Getting a lot of gold.
Jeff, thank you for joining it. Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, man. Thank you for bringing that on. Greg C has always felt that way. Yes, where he says it puts sales first. Yeah, it puts the results first, and when we get results, great things happen. Really, in the end, when you think about it, right? What is value?
Yeah. If it's a win-win-win for everybody involved, everybody wins, and that's the way you
But just think about this for a second, DJ, because I'd like to shift a paradigm here before we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
What is value?
Value to me is the experience you leave them with. It is your brand. It is you. It is you. That's, to me, that's value to me. It is what you leave them, because again, especially in our industry, let's be honest, we're all using kind of the same trucks. There's no difference there. The driver might be better, and if you actually have a relationship with your carriers, then you'll know that, and you can sell that too. But in the end, it's the experience from the moment we start working with them to the end. I think it's the experience.
That's interesting. I love that take on it. See, I see value as results, because everything we do in life, if we want a result and the product or service gets us that result, they're like, oh my God, that's awesome value.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so what are the results? What are and the real results? Not, it would be really nice if it's like, what are the real results? What's the goal? What's the mission? What are we going after? And sometimes customers don't want to share that. That's, we all know that's part of the game, but
yes, sir.
The results we get are the core value. Like Greg said, you first and foremost, what's the win-win? That's results. Everything comes from results. Like, we think if we go and do a 20% education rule and we watch a YouTube video, and that YouTube video gives us a strategy, we use that strategy to get results. We're like, oh my God, that YouTube video is awesome. We're going to share it with people. Right? We go into a meeting and we deliver a PowerPoint presentation that gets results. We immediately like, oh my God, that PowerPoint presentation is going to be delivered to everyone. Now that's where that result gets skewed, because not everybody's looking for the same thing.
Yes.
Right. So it's individualized results, perspective results, whatever. I'm going to have to work on that, but it's results. Yeah. That's what I see. Yeah.
I like Lisa's too. Amount of problems
we solve in the marketplace. Again, results. Because if somebody has a problem, they want us to solve it. That's a result.
That's right.
Right. So it comes, I like that. And Jeff says, I'll take it. 100%. All right, DJ. Now, that was like a whirlwind around LA on that highway we just met. How's that quote that you got today?
I got a good one. It's a Zig quote, and I do love it. But again, thank you everybody for all of your comments, man. For a Monday, especially our West Coast crew, thank you guys. You guys rock. But thank you everybody, seriously, for all your comments, and for. If you want to catch this, if you're catching this late, if you're catching this at the end, guys, we do replay this every day. Now, we are Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. till 9:30, to start your day, your week, every day with us. And we do replay it at 12 Eastern and 3 p.m. Eastern as well for our West Coast. And again, thank you guys. Thank you to American.
Should we say our non-hardcore West Coast?
Yeah, non-hardcore.
Can we say that without offending anyone?
Okay, our West Coast, not high level, high achievers like our crew.
Oh, now you just called people out, DJ. See, I hardcore kind of puts
they're hardcore. They're hardcore.
I'm not getting up at 6 a.m. hardcore, but now you just actually called people out.
Listen, they are driven, like you said.
I love it.
That's what this show is about.
Yes,
Anybody
sir.
watching this, I mean, you guys are watching this for the same reason we're doing it. We just want to connect with people who have big goals, big dreams, and we want to help you try to reach those goals. So, again,
Bring it.
quote to take us out. Thank you to American Logistics. Thank you to Centurion Trucking, and Daman, of course. Rise and shine. Zig Ziglar. This is it. This is the quote for the week, guys. This is for the week. Be the type of person that you want to meet.
Mm.